What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Brutal Planet Comics. I'm your host, Trey the Brute Daniels, and welcome to an episode of the Indie Corner, where I sit down with everybody from the independent community, writers, artists, directors, producers. Doesn't matter if you're in the game, I want to talk to you. So today we have ourselves another very special guest. He is the host of the Renaissance Nerd YouTube channel and is also the author to our Knights of the Round Table. Give it up, everybody, for Adam, the Renaissance Nerd.
Howdy, y'all. How you doing, Dre?
I'm good. What is going on, my friend? How are you?
Well, as we were talking about earlier, I'm in the middle of review hell right now, doing Rings of Power as we speak. On the day we're recording this, I am this close to finishing the first review of both episodes, and my brain my earphones are keeping it in right now. It's keeping it in.
You're holding the sludge in.
Yeah, I mean, these very expensive wireless headphones are keeping it in because they're a little sound damage. They got a little cushioning. They can hold it in there, but yeah, I'm tired.
That's why you got paid top dollar for them headphones, baby. That's why you got paid.
Yeah. These are awesome. These Arctis 7s, these are great. These are fantastic. I highly recommend them. They're great. Dope. I got tired of turning my head and having cord catch on things.
I ain't even mad at you.
Years of gaming and MMOs, my oldest ones. Well, you can't see it with my chairs in the way. They're over there hanging off the DVD rack. The cord catches and it wrapping around your arm, doing all these weird things, wrapping it around towers just so it's kind of up here and not hitting my arm because it's distracting. Earlier this year, I said, screw it, I'm investing in wireless headset, and it's been great. Took me a whole day to get it to work, but once I did, this thing is great. I love this thing, and it's Steel Series Steel Series. No, I'm sorry, it's what the hell are they called? Yeah, Steel Series. Yeah, the brand Steel Series.
Dope.
I use them. I have a keyboard. They don't make it anymore. Oh. This particular keyboard, it is fantastic. It's a gamer keyboard. It's got this really great. I'll show you for a second. It's got this really great thing where you can work your hand right there.
That's awesome.
It makes gaming incredible when you're doing mouse and keyboard.
That's awesome.
Reaction time, yeah. So I recommend Steel Series. Okay. I totally recommend Steel Series for products because they're. I've had this thing for over a decade. This keyboard still works fine. The M key is a little clicky, but that's about it.
Yeah, after you pressed it about 40 million times.
Yeah.
So Adam,
this keyboard's had a workout. Yeah, it's had a workout.
Yeah. So before we get into all the awesome stuff that you're doing on your channel, let's just get to know you a little bit. Who are you? Okay. Where'd you come from? How did we get here?
Oh. I'll condense it as much as possible. I was originally my original plan in life, once I got through my first round at college, was to be a chef. I thought it's cooking's in my blood. It was my first job. I've been cooking since 1996. 1996. Oh. It was my first job in Italian deli. I'm half Italian. I'm half, I guess. We say Russian, but it's a mix of Ukrainian. There's probably a little Spanish in there too. They moved their way through Western, Eastern Europe till they made it to Ukraine. And it's a hodgepodge in there, but cooking's in my blood. And I was taught to do things at an early age, and I have a knack for it. I thought, okay, I had a mental breakdown in my junior year in college. I had a meltdown at one point, thought, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do. I don't want to do this lawyer shit. I don't want to do that. And I thought, all right, you're good at cooking, just go to culinary school. Finish up, go to culinary school. And I did. Went to New York, went to the Institute of Culinary Education, and I got a job offer right away to work where I was doing my internship, but they called it an externship. But I didn't want to stay in New York because I had no family there. My mom is my family. That's it. And I didn't want to be far away. I didn't want to be up in New York. In New York, it's horrible. It's terrible.
It's a rough state. I visited recently. It's not for me.
No. I mean, I was born there. I was born in Manhattan. I was born in Manhattan, lived in Jersey for the first third of my life, and then moved down south for high school. Let's just say my mom took her sister's advice, and it was a really dumb move, and I've been stuck in this area ever since. And but I went to culinary school, but the truth is, the world of the culinary arts It's a lie. It's a lie. There's no money in it.
Really?
No. Back then they would pay you shit. You get nothing. I've never been paid more than $11 an hour for any job when I was in the kitchen work. Yeah,
so why?
Nothing.
I mean, okay, maybe you can help me out, because I'm always. I mean, because once again, I don't know nothing about the culinary arts. But
nobody does. Nobody does. It's a lie. It's been a phantom mirage for decades until recently.
So who makes the money? Is it the head chef makes the money, or
not really? Well, here's the thing: the owner opens up a joint.
Okay.
Restaurants or whatever food thing you're doing, it's a money pit.
Okay.
You are lucky to break even because you don't make enough to cover your overhead. Because remember, electricity, water, supplies, ingredients, manpower, and whatever you're doing, it costs. The only way restaurants make money, the bar. Unless you're selling alcohol, you don't make money. You're always going to be in the red. They're money pits, and yeah, employees are going to make money, but they're never making enough. And also, the people who work in kitchens are trash people. They're trash individuals. They make you crazy. They turn you evil. I was working on a line once, and I got absorbed by the insanity and the behavior, and I started then treating the wait staff like shit too. They're yelling at staff, then suddenly I'm yelling at the wait staff. It's a horrible thing. Everybody's an alcoholic. Everybody smokes. Everybody's doing drugs. It's terrible. It's not fun. You work shit hours. You're always working holidays. Your weekend is not everybody else's weekend. You don't get weekends off.
Yeah.
No, you're open Saturday, and you're up at the worst hours. You're in horrible temperatures all the time. I have burns on every portions of my arm. Some scars still remain. Some don't. I've got knife scars on my fingers from stupidity at times.
Jesus.
It's a horrible industry. It's a horrible life, and it doesn't pay. And at one point, my mom came into a little bit of money. At one point, she was going to back me to opening my own place, but then 2008 happened. And that's when I realized I don't want to do this. I thought I would move to the front of the house, try management end, and I started doing one program for that. But then that kind of I got sick and tired of it, and I decided, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I've come to hate and loathe food. And then I decided, okay, what am I good at? Well, I've got my history degree. That ain't worth anything. That's a very expensive piece of toilet paper right now. I've got my culinary degree, which was an expensive piece of toilet paper. That suddenly got forgiven a few months ago. They just wrote it off suddenly. 18 grand I didn't have to pay.
Oof. Good Lord.
Yeah, I felt that was a good day.
That is a good day.
Yeah, but there's still another mountain, thanks to all the schooling that I've done unnecessarily in the end. But I decided, okay, I understand the world. I understand history. Let's try policy. I decided to go back to school for a second time as an adult. And honestly, as an adult, school's a lot easier.
Oh.
When I was my first time around, I was barely at 2.7. Second time around, 3.8. I figured it out. I unlocked the mysteries of studying, maximizing my ability to memorize stuff. I have partial photographic memory. I learned to utilize it. I can see things and I can hear things.
Nice.
And it kind of registers. So I combined listening to audio. I recorded my classes. You know, you're not supposed to record your classes. But if you listen to them over and over again while you're doing random shit, it imprints on your brain. You're sitting there and you see the question and you hear that class session in your mind. If you've got that kind of memory, and okay, easy. And then flashcards, all that kind of stuff. So I utilized all my stuff that I had going for there, and I was able to do well. So I got a BA in government and international relations, and then I got a master's in public administration.
That's
all for the hope of moving into policy, working in a think tank, doing something with strategic ideas,
So as far as policy is concerned, would that be like you're trying to get a government job to work for like the Pentagon?
I wanted to go think tank. I didn't want to work for government. I wanted to do what's it called? Like tactical assessment, strategic thinking, strategic analysis,
that
kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Here's a module created to analyze. I mean, No bullshit.
You wanted to be a professional nerd. That's what you wanted to be.
That kind of professional government nerd. I basically created a module at one point that pegged Boko Haram as an up and coming terrorist organization before they became anything. So that's the kind of shit I wanted to do.
Gotcha.
But when I finished my second degree when I finished the master's program in 2015, getting a job was not as easy as I thought. It wasn't as easy as I thought. And the school lied to me basically and said, "Oh, we'll help you out." Yeah, they didn't help shit. They didn't really provide any sort of assistance. When they brought my group in, they had disposed with an advisor, so I had no advisor. Nobody giving me track pathing, anything, and I ended up going home to my mom because it's like I'm out of money.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try getting a job there. Might be easier. There's some still local stuff where she was. And it wasn't working. I came real close a couple of times, and then it fell through. I came real close, and then I was in a really low place. And then I reconnected with an old friend, and he lived in China. Doesn't anymore, but lived in China at the time. Said, "I'm doing this, and that. Come work for me." And I said, "Okay, can I bring my mom? She's going to need a job too. I can't leave her alone. I can't go across seas. Can't leave her alone." Sure, he'll give her a job too. Yeah, biggest mistake of my life. I was in a low point. It was just not a smart move. I turned down an interview with the Daily Caller.
I remember that. Why do I remember that?
It was Tucker Carlson was the editor at the
time. Okay.
Yeah, this is 2015, 2016. This is 16 at this point. I turned down an interview there thinking, "Oh, I'm going to have this great life over there." My buddy told me that it was more westernized than it was. No, it wasn't westernized at all. And it was a nightmare. We sold everything. We stupidly sold our cars. We sold everything. We put everything away. Went over there, think we're going to be there for 2 or 3 years. And within a week, it all started falling apart. Because one, the job was not exactly what it was supposed to be. And two, I got the real coof. I got original recipe. That they had over there.
Straight out of the kitchen.
Yes. Oof. I got the real deal. Not, let's just say the what we got here.
The watered down.
I don't want to get your channel in trouble. Yeah. I don't want to talk about that too much. Let's say I got original recipe and knocked me on my ass. Almost killed me. Did almost kill me because at one point, have you ever had anaphylactic shock?
No, I have not.
I've had it several times in my life. Before I figured out what it was, because then by the third time it wasn't so bad. I realized, oh shit, that's the common denominator. Anaphylactic shock, when you get it, your head, the blood pumping in your head goes crazy. It kind of internally swells up, and your heart races, and you can't breathe, and you'll pass out. And I almost passed out once the very first time, but I had something akin to that. But at the same time, see if I can get what happened to me is at the peak of the thing, at the peak of the attack, about 3 or 4 days in. Seized my entire torso and it forced my arms like this,
like a T-Rex.
Think of that more to my sides, but this, and it forced my hands into claws. It was one of the most painful experiences in my life. I couldn't do it, and I couldn't breathe. It started choking on me, and I nearly died. And my mom's freaking out because my biological father died overnight of a similar SARS type thing when I was a kid, and so she's losing it. She's thinking, "Am I watching him die? Am I watching him die like I watched my husband die?" And at that moment, I remember everything. Some people say they don't remember shit. I remember every goddamn moment of the entire illness. All I kept saying to myself, breathe, 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 breathe. And I got through it. And finally, 15 minutes later, the ambulance arrives and they take you to the Taiwanese hospital, not the Chinese hospital, because they say if you go in the Chinese hospital, you never come out. So they put me on antibiotics, and a week later, my fever was down, and I told my friend, "Yeah, I'm going home."
Yeah,
I'm going home. And at the same time, I had jacked up my right foot, so I'm a gimp. I had ruptured 3 or 4 tendons in my right foot, swollen up to the size of 2 baseballs. I couldn't walk. Goodness. I was sick. Fortunately, my temperature was down. I got through the screening. We got the hell out of there. Poor problem is we came back here, our lives were upended. So ever since then, it's been an attempt to rebuild my life, get it back on track. I tried one more master's program in communications, went back to my same school. Yeah, that was doing all right. I was laid up for a year, but the rest of 2016, most of 2017, I was laid up.
I would assume you were on disability at that.
No, not on anything. I was just my mom managed to get work again. I tried to get work. Got real close a couple more times, did a bunch of job fair type shit, and none of it panned out. Nothing was working. I thought, okay, let's rethink this. Okay, I'll go hide out in university one more time, get one more master's degree. Communications, that's a big deal. Communications is everything now. I got reaccepted back into a school here, got back in, and we came back to where we are now. My mom moved back over, she lives nearby, and we went through it, and I got back in, and it was going right. It was going okay. Got through the first 2 semesters. I had one more semester to go. One more to go. 2 things happened. One, I ran out of federal funding.
They'll do it.
Government wanted to give me more money. Okay, fine. Had to fix my credit a little bit more. I could get another specific loan, could finish it. Then guess what happened in 2020? Other coof.
Yeah.
Pseudo coof happened.
Wow.
And school shut down, and that's when I realized that's it. And also, things were getting woker and woker. And remember, this is Orange Man presidency, so people are losing. I'm on campus. I'm watching people lose their shit. I'm in classes where professors are talking rabid Marxist bullshit. And I'm losing my mind. I can't do this. I have people who I thought were cool kind of rat me out for the way I voted at certain points, and it's like, geez, dude, not in this environment. And it was a lunatic asylum.
Yeah.
And I realized, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do what I've always wanted to do. Write.
Okay.
I have been writing since 1996. Same year I got my first job. I've been writing. I did fanfic. I've always had stories to tell. I've always been a gamer. I have all this on my head. So that's it. In 2002, before I went off to culinary school, my mom gave me a year. I wrote my first book, my first original book, not fanfic work. I've been doing fanfic work forever. As honing the craft. And then I've been working, and I tried to get the book published originally, but I thought I was the Tits McGee, but I was nothing. I wasn't ready. I wasn't prime time. But now add another 15 years. Yeah, now I am prime time. I did more fanfic. I kept working harder. I've honed the craft. I've done the 10,000 hours thing, where basically you put in the 10,000 hours, like they say with playing guitar and other things like that.
Yep.
Suddenly you level up, and it's there. In 2020, I said, that's it. I want to do what I want to do. I gotta write. It's the only way out. I have made so many wrong choices at this point. I have got to gamble everything. So I sat down. I took the book that I wrote. I've got that series. It's a lot up here. There's a lot up here.
Always is for writers like us. It's always a lot up here. The problem is putting it on the page.
Well, well, I don't really have that problem. I cranked out the rewrite. I rewrote the first book, rejiggered it, everything, 4 months.
It's not bad.
Cranked it out from March to July in 2020. Cranked it out. Did the full rewrite. It's a full rewrite. I've changed a lot of stuff, and with the intent of now it being the foundation of an entire universe that I want to build.
Nice.
I'm taking all the fanfic stuff I've done for years, pulling out the D&D, pulling out the anime, pulling out the video game characters that other people had me use, because I was doing collaboration work at one point.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And I have redoing it all, building a fresh foundation, and all to get back to the stories, which are all going to get rewritten, but I'm rebuilding an entire universe. And this first series, the Chronicles of Rosetta, that's the foundation. It's where it starts. And I rewrote the first book with that intention, and then I realized I have 2 choices. I can either go the Comicsgate route, like John Malin says, grab an oar, build your channel, build your foundation, get an audience. That was that route. That was the second route. The first route, I said, I'm going to give traditional legacy publishing one more try. Because in this day and age, you don't have to send out the query letters. Well, you can't. You do, but you do it over email.
Yeah, email.
Everything's on the internet. I could find all the agents. I didn't have to get the big ass book that I once had to get from the library.
Do you remember those things?
Was usually I did.
Yeah. Oh my!
Terrible.
God.
Weren't they terrible? And they were so inaccurate too.
Yes.
And I got scammed. I got scammed once from one dude. Oh, here, send me this and I'll give you this. And I paid for nothing. I paid a guy once. I got scammed. I was a kid. I was stupid. My mom was stupid too because she agreed to it. It was her money. And I decided that's it. I'll give this one more try. And oh boy, did the woke door slam me in the face. Sorry, you're not fitting in. And sorry, I don't do this type of one. And then I started researching all the books that are being published. Yeah, no. Legacy publishing is infested. It's dead. It's dying. It is dying.
Yes,
going my own way. I don't need an agent to gatekeep me. I honestly, I don't even think, I don't use an editor. I've been editing my own work from personal to professionally done stuff for papers for over 20 years.
As you should.
Editor. I'm a decent editor. I am pretty good. As I go, yeah. And I've the book right now, I've edited it now since 2020. I think 4, maybe 5 times. It's in its final form at this point.
So this is the same book. So
that I wrote
the
20 years ago.
Okay, so it's the same book, and you've and I do my own
full rewrite.
Yeah, I do my own edits myself too. I ain't got to pay nobody. I got literary degrees. I don't need that crap. So I've
got enough experience editing papers that are A+ papers from professors who worked in the industry I was trying to get into.
Exactly.
National security stuff. These people like I could edit. I can choose words. I'm literate. I've been reading books for a very long time. I have a history major too. Attempted to minor in English, but kind of moved away from that because I didn't want to do that kind of work.
No,
but it was. But I'm a decent editor. And why do I need to pay an agent? Why do I need to pay an editor? I mean, the key to editing, and you know this, it's never perfect.
Ever.
You'll always go back. When Eric July launched Ripaverse 2 months ago, during that whole thing, as I told you when we first met, I said, I'm not jealous. I just wish I was where he was. So while he was doing it, during a stream, while they were doing a Friday Night Tights stream, I pulled up the document and I just started flipping through it. Yeah, I made a handful more corrections that I found. I was like, oh, tweak, word change. There's always room.
Always.
That's why you know you're okay to edit, because you always know it's never going to be perfect.
Never.
You just have to, at a certain point, you have to stop.
And that's the issue. That's the issue. Like my first issue before I released it in 2019, I edited that thing at least 7 times. At least 7 times. Like I wrote this story years ago, and I was like, because like the mind I had then is not the same mind I have now.
Yeah.
So when you go back, like, oh wait, no, I want to use this type of grammatical statement
and life experience as well.
Yeah, the game changes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And so I've done that edit a bunch of times, and it's as ready as I can make it, and it's ready to go. The book is done.
Nice.
And I've gone the route of doing it myself. I started the channel in February of 2021, February 3rd. Every 3rd of February is the anniversary of the channel. February 3rd, 2021, I started it, and I looked at the requirements of YouTube. It is just after they changed it. As you well know, got to have your 1,000, got to have your 4,000.
Yep.
I think to myself, geez, man, that's rough. Okay, I bought this camera. I got this mic. I've gotten a lot of little extra things here and there to help it make it better, work things out. I got a second monitor. I got everything going. I got this cool ass crane. I have both monitors on the crane. I went full out. This room got switched around, got all rotated around to fit it better, and I went for it. And I went all in. I said, "That's it. I got to do what John Malin said: build my channel, build a base, earn the trust and support of the people. So when it comes time to offer them a product, they're going to be all in. They're willing to give you that benefit of doubt for your first thing." So here we are. We are a year and a half later. We're a year and a half later. And I'm a YouTuber.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes.
I'm a YouTuber who also is a writer. I really want to be. I just want to write my stories, but I'm a YouTuber, and I embrace it. I go all in. What you see is what you get. Little amped up, maybe more than real. You know that for sure. From our private interaction, I'm a little more. I amplify it up a bit, but I am what you see. I am not putting on an act. I call myself the Renaissance nerd because I'm not, because I consider myself a Renaissance man. I am trained in classical literature. I am trained in cooking. I am trained in history. I am trained in government and national security. I am trained in policy and administration. I'm a writer. I love cinema. I love to read. I love all this stuff. And I'm also a gamer. I'm a hardcore gamer nerd of all types, from tabletop to dice to sheets on the paper to miniatures to video games, strategy, all types of video games. That's why I call myself the Renaissance Nerd, because
I think you checked just about every box there is.
All this shit. and but here's the thing. I only talk about the shit I know. I don't read. I mean, and when I'm getting into areas that I'm not clear of, like, for a perfect example, with the Lord of the Rings stuff review that I'm doing today for, well, Lord of the Rings, I should say Rings of Power. It's not Lord of the Rings.
It's Rings of Power. Yeah.
It's Rings of Power. I make it clear. I am not a hardcore lore guy. I'm a casual fan. That's why I'm put the panel together for discussion, to bring in the lore guys so that we can have a real good discussion. Catch me where I fall. I have lore guys in the chat when we do live streams that correct me when I miss something, as opposed to, let's say, Star Wars. Oh, Star Wars. I own that. There's no telling. You can't tell me a lot that I don't know. I don't know everything, but I can carry the water for a Star Wars discussion. I can carry the water for some Star Trek. I can carry the water for a lot of other things, but I don't range too far. Like, that's why I love that our relationship has grown the way it is. If I have a question about DC or Marvel, I can ask Dre. Dre has an answer for me. You've educated me on a couple things. I asked you a few weeks ago, am I talking out of my ass on this? You said, yeah, you're talking out of your ass on this. Okay, I was wrong. That's fine. I'm fine. That's fine. And that's why this is an incredible opportunity for all of us, because we are creating the alternative. You and I are part. We're among many YouTubers, but you and I are unique in that area where we also have something else to offer. We're going to add to the stacks. We're going to add to the shelf. We're going to add to the disk drive. We're ready to add something. We're not just giving takes. We're not just giving stuff. We want to actually contribute, put something out there. It just takes time, and that's the scary part. I mean, I feel old. I feel like I'm running out of time. I still have things I have a lot of things I haven't accomplished in life due to my poor choices, but I'm trying to make up for it. And I'm younger. I'm older than I look. I'm not as. I look younger than I actually am. So I age well. It's a family thing. We age well, but I really believe that this is the way, in the end, it was supposed to happen. I am my own master. And in the end, like you, when I put my stuff out there, I own it.
Yep.
No publishing company is going to own a piece. No agent's going to be telling me. No editor is going to change something without telling me.
Yep.
No. I own my IPs. They are all mine.
Yep.
I'm making changes. Only two people will own part of it. Two dudes I worked with for previous editions, the previous versions. I still want their characters. And they've already given me permission. But you know what? I've told them, I will make sure you get your taste at the start. And I mean, I don't mind publicly saying this because it's the truth. When the time comes at the beginning, because their stuff is only trickled in there, I'll work out a licensing agreement with them so they get a fair shot. It's like, okay, here's a payment for this period of time. Boom. But if things go well and the books pick up, and when their characters are really started to be featured in the later main adventure stuff, I'll work out a royalties deal with them. Because that's the fair and correct thing to do.
That's fair.
Those are their characters. Granted, I brought their characters to life more so than ever because they gave me the rough ideas. But when the stories happened, it was all my ideas, all my life, all my words, all my connective tissue, the relationships I built with all the other characters. But it's still their characters. They created them. So we'll put the lawyers in a room and we'll work out a royalty deal. Yeah. That is fair.
Yep.
It's fair and I don't like to use the term, but fair and equitable, that they get
that's the right terms to use.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's when you use the word equity. Use it that correctly there. Yeah. A fair and equitable agreement that's their characters. And as long as they're featured in the story, which at a certain point they'll always be featured, so they'll get their royalty deal. They'll get their fair share.
That's
my dream now. My dream is to build the channel, get that base, YouTube pays for things, crowdfund, and eventually get to a point where I can open my own small publishing company.
That would be cool.
And that's what I want to do. And at the same time, since I'm building a universe, it's a big playground. Other people can come and play in my sandbox. They could play. Cool. They could. There's a lot of worlds that I maybe haven't created yet. Where I'm literally talking a universe that isn't ours, that isn't the Milky Way or galaxy or our. It's another universe. No Earth, no nothing. So that means there's galaxies and other planets that can be populated with ideas, and if they're good enough, maybe they can worm their way into the main storyline at some point. I want to give opportunities to other people to have to create stuff, and I feel that that's the best way to do it. And right now, the best way right now is making these YouTube connections. You and I, other guys, Jed, the Hollywood Scholar, another writer. I want to do what Comicsgate does. I want to be able to have a nexus of authors where we can either, if you're directly selling through an online thing or you're running the crowdfund, we can do what we do. We'll have live streams. We get the crowdfund in. We have fun. We have a good time. We get those books sold. We get those books made. We get them put in people's hands.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
And I think that's a beautiful thing. And especially when it comes to other creatives like myself that's been writing for ever and a day. Yeah. It's like I've self-published 6 comic books. Like it's no easy task, especially when you're a one-man record.
Really not easy because a comic book takes a lot more than a novel to go into it. That's why I'm happy that my overhead is a lot smaller than yours. Yes, I just pay myself, possibly an illustrator for either a map or a cover. That's it. You have to deal with the writing. You do the writing. You got to deal with inking. You got to deal with artwork. You got to deal with all other stuff that goes with that. Yeah. The layouts. All this. You have so. I've been watching Comicsgate for years. I know what goes into that stuff. Yeah. I have it a lot easier than you do. Yeah, a lot easier.
It's a lot, and especially when it comes to like, so me, I'm a theater-esque writer. So even my panels have stage directions, and like which a lot of writers don't do these days, which confuses the crap out of me. But a lot of comic writers, they don't use theater skill. Maybe they just don't have it or don't know. But you need that for your vision to come to life. Like the artist that I've been working with for many years now, when we first started working together, he looked at it, he said, "Yo, I see everything you just wrote. I do not have to use my imagination." I said, "That's the point. I don't want you to use your imagination. I want you to do what I've put on the page."
Show, don't tell. Show, don't tell. It took me a long time to really put that together. It took a lot of years. I used to do a lot of tell. I took fencing. It was one of those. I did fencing, so I understand how certain sword movements should work, and I can extrapolate for other types of things. I can watch and understand. Sword play is sword play. You just have to understand it adapts in certain ways depending on how you do. So you can understand combat. Now, when I was a younger man, I used to do blow by blow combat for descriptions. Blow by blow. I thought it was great. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Yeah, that's not how you do it. That's not what you do. You give a taste of the blow by blow, then you show, you talk about it, describe some movements, describe some feelings, and if you're doing it right, they'll see it. I've always been a proponent of if it's right, you'll see it like a movie in your head. Yes. And that's how I try to write. I try to write like you see a movie head. I give you just enough of a description here and there. Now, my style has evolved. I used to try and mimic Robert Jordan, used to try and mimic Terry Goodkind when I was younger, looking for influence. But my own style has developed finally. Took an extra 10 years, but it happened. And you give that little, you can't do Robert Jordan's full description for clothing. I tried that. I wasn't good at it. Terry Goodkind went too far in combat sometimes, but there's a certain point stop. Robert Jordan didn't go anywhere in combat. And it's just the whispering wind of the moon or shit like that. And I found a nice middle point where I can describe a quick action and then paint the portrait of what's going on. Same with clothes. I'll give you an idea. I'll throw a color out there. Let the reader fill it in the rest.
And see, that's the advantage that you actually have, Adam, in novel writing, and strictly novel writing. Easy English, novel writing. For us, that's in the visual medium, it's a little bit different because we have to spell out because it depends on. Well, it depends on like how I do my action sequences because I like how you come from a fencing background. I come from a combat sports background. Yeah. So every contortion or every motion that I want, like per panel, I want that to bleed off the page. I want when I'm describing an overhead suplex, I want the description of the head placement in between the joint of the elbow and the and you know, and the bicep, you know, like those type of descriptions. That's what I want, because then I'm like, hey, I want the motion blur to be 3 millimeters, you know, like that type of stuff has to go into it. So can you drive an artist crazy? Yes. But at the same time, the vision is going to be chef's kiss, and it's pretty sweet.
But I have the advantage in that, but that advantage disappears if you're working with somebody else. I told you I did collaboration, and some people are great to work with. Some people, they just say, go with it. You got it, dude. That looks good, fine. But then there are some who are the old adage, those who can't teach, those who can't do, those who can't teach. But the ones who teach always think they still can. Yeah. Now, of course, the person I'm referring to couldn't do anything, but they wanted to be the writer, but they didn't have the skill. They had a lot of ideas, and they did, but a lot of them were cheap. But also, perfect example, just without giving story away, because this would be a spoiler without this be a spoiler. Let's just say a particular love triangle. Cool. I decided to do a particular love triangle. It was going to go it was not going to be a love triangle originally, but then I was doing something and I thought, whoa, these two actually belong together. Not my character and his character one, my character and somebody else's character. And I thought, okay, love triangle. He was so unhappy. It's like, no, they were supposed to end up together. I'm like, yeah, no, this works so much better. Trust me. And then after that, his character goes down a dark psychological path due to events that he created and then didn't tell me about, but then I had to retcon into shit. That's the worst thing. Trying to retcon somebody else's shit that they threw out there when you didn't plan on it. And I planned very far. I'm a macro guy.
I understand that. I'm with that.
I'm a macro guy. And so retconning shit, so to try and retcon shit in, but then he does a lot of crazy shit, and then I try to make it better. At least I think I'm making it better. And then he is constantly arguing with me over every little thing. So I can understand. So I can't understand when you have to work with somebody else this is how it's supposed to go. No. Trust me, it'll be fine.
Yeah. And
fortunately now, I don't need to use this character anymore. I can make up my own version.
Yeah.
And I can do away with all the extra crap that he forced me to retcon in. Called this guy an ex-friend of mine called him Caveman. He nicknamed this guy Caveman, so I always think of him as Caveman. So I don't have to deal with Caveman anymore. And it teaches you that you can work with people, but some people should not be involved in creative things, because
I agree.
You're either creative or you're not.
Exactly.
Or your creativity has limits. You can't see past a certain point.
And that's where the rubber meets the road, in my opinion, there, especially when it comes to collaborative work. Like, the only collaborative work I've ever engaged in are anthologies and pulps. That's it. Because I'm just writing something that is my own, that's contributing to a bigger book, pretty much. But as far as like a collaborative effort, like what you're doing, or what you had done before you take
that
off,
was
ain't no way. In this life or the next.
It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. It's always that, okay, at certain points, you have to check in. So, okay, here's where this is going. Or somebody says, I didn't really want it to happen that way, but okay. And it's just, it's rough. It's rough. Especially when they start using tons of anime and video game stuff that you don't know about. And it's just, oh man, I didn't play that game. I didn't watch that show. I don't know these characters.
Yeah.
All right, somehow I got to figure this out, and then I stealthily removed them and replaced them with better original characters that take it up. But when you're the one in control, when you're the one putting the words on the paper, when you're the ones creating the story, you're the ones making the characters come to life. You have enough power and sway to say, yeah, I'll take what you're saying, but this is kind of how it has to go. Trust me. And it always works out.
Yeah,
I do like it. But what you learn from collaboration, also you learn other things, is that you learn that you always have more to learn. There's always more. I had to learn the lesson a long time ago of sometimes you got to kill character off.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of when and who.
I
And
I personally enjoy it. Honestly, I
hate it. I hate it. It's half and half. It's a love-hate thing with me.
I like it.
Now I know when characters are going to die. And there's going to come a point when the core characters, like, okay, these guys, they're all making it to the end, but I'm going to make their lives. I replace not killing them by making their lives miserable to an extent. Okay.
Make them wish they were dead.
Well, it's like ex-couple is going to go through hell, and their relationship, even though they're so deeply in love, things are going to happen. It's going to make it horrible. Their kids are going to end up, something can have stuff with their kids. You don't make it sunshine and honeycups.
Gotcha.
And sometimes kill characters, sometimes you don't. But I think because you can't do you can't do Germ, can't do George R.R. Martin, you can't kill everybody.
Yeah. There's a limit.
I believe in the hero story. I believe in good versus evil. I don't believe in his nihilistic crap. That's what my stories are. There's always the core. It's good versus evil. Sometimes evil will win.
Yeah.
I've already got some great ideas for the world building I'm doing. You won't see it coming. I don't think they'll see it coming.
Isn't that great? Adam, I got to tell you something. Like me, I've always been a pro-villain guy.
Oh, villains are fun.
I've always been pro-villain because that's what makes the story fun. Of all the nefarious, devious, monstrous crap.
Love to hate.
Do. Yes.
Love to hate.
They're great.
I'll just tell you right now. You meet her early on enough in the first book. One of my villains, Elise the Scarlet Fiend. Elise Vel Ilnira, the Scarlet Fiend. She's psychotic.
Nice.
I love writing the psychos, but she's not. The thing is, Elise, her psychotic wasn't her fault. She made choices, but then she's so great. And what I love is you got your villains that are irredeemable, but then some villains, if you give them the proper backstory, you could see their path to anti-hero status, or at least I'm there with the real group, but I'm here because for my own reasons. Yes. I'm not here because I believe in what you're doing. I'm here for X, Y reason. And I'm going to stick around because hopefully I'm a beloved character. And I've already got ones lined up to replace the ones that I did that I had to take from other games. But it's writing the villain is great.
Yes.
Writing villain. And the trick is, though, what you hope is, let's say a villain that will repeat themselves. You hope that people like them.
Yes.
Because they're key.
Yes.
They're key. They're going to come back a few times if in the long run. Or they're going to pop up again. Or you're seeding it so that they're part of a grander scheme.
Very good.
Maybe some other thing. They come back bigger, worse, nastier, or they come back in a lesser form, but they're still just as deadly because they know you and they're helping something. You have to craft those villains. I mean, I made a mistake, and I can correct this because it'll be a rewrite. A certain sect of, let's just say henchmen, we'll just call them henchmen, sure, serving a greater villain that I come up with. I didn't give them enough background the first time around in one book. And the book that will be called, I'll call it now, a book called Children of Hope. When that one comes out, certain subsect of villains in there, they didn't get enough. They were introduced in the previous book, Children of Destiny. Children of Hope, they come back in a different way. But because I was in a rush to finish Children of Hope at the time, I didn't do enough for them. I could get that right this time. That's the beauty of the rewrite. Like this, I can go back, I can give them enough time. Like one particular group, like three of them, I gave them nothing to do for the entire story. They were just there. They were there for the final parts of the final battles, and two of them didn't even have any lines.
Oh God, they're just taking up space.
They were just I needed 7, and I needed to have 7 sins, and they filled up the slots. And a bunch of them did not get enough time, didn't get enough background, they didn't have the motivation. And with some things I set up, I can go back and fix that this time. I know where I'm going this time. With the previous one, I always knew where I was going before, but I didn't realize I didn't do enough. I can set it up better. I can do better. I can learn. I didn't do them justice. I want them to be a little more solid this next time around, and they will be. They'll have a little motivation. The animosity they feel towards particular other characters will be more flushed out. It'll work better. But that's just an example.
Yeah.
You can always learn.
It's a great thing, and like from my initial series that I've been, well written, but whatever, that's being produced. This is the hero's journey aspect of the arc. My next arc is pretty much my Empire Strikes Back arc. And everybody knows how the Empire Strikes Back goes down. Villains win. Period. Yeah. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. Villains win. But I'm doing it in a way that I'm making the world turn against our hero. And it's
that's rough. That's struggling because you don't want to do it.
Exactly.
And it hurts.
It hurts a little, but it has to be done. So it's like on our first journey, he's getting his abilities, powers, all that great stuff, and saving the city. Everybody's like, yay! And then it's like the aftermath of what happens. Like there's so many times, often you don't see the consequences of what happens. You don't see the consequences. It's like, oh yeah, there's superpowered individuals in your city now and all that stuff. But then you have like Congress, like, excuse me, they need to go. And then
I always look at the damage aspect of what happens after super battles, and I'm very keen to that in my own stuff. I pay attention to the fallout. There's one particular city in my series that just gets destroyed over and over again. It becomes a running gag, but I'm going to keep it. Just that city, it's out of luck. Shit always goes down in that city on this planet. It's always rough.
So it's going to be your Tokyo and Kaiju films, pretty much.
Sort of. I guess it's just shit. It's always a bad place. I mean, I think I'm going to keep it that way because it just makes it fun.
That does sound like fun.
But the Empire Strikes Back motif, we all do it. We have to do it, especially when you're doing things a series.
Yeah,
it always has to happen at a certain point, and it happens multiple times. I do it multiple times in one series. Some series, if it's a trilogy, it's usually always going to be the middle book because that's where it happens. But
of course.
So, certain things though, it doesn't have to happen because what I call the children's of series. There's about 5 of them. 6 if I have to actually write one of them, which 2 of them I never actually wrote. 2 other people were supposed to write them, so they never did. So I had to take the condensed events and it just rush through it, explaining what happened.
No fun.
Exposition dumps. Yeah. Like, okay, they never got around to doing it, so now we're back to. I'm ready to get out this book. That book never happened. Okay, make sure I get the right exposition dump at the right point so people know what happened. But the children's series, they're all one-shots, all 5 of them, but they're all still connected. It's one series, but they all have beginning, ending, and conclusion.
Got it.
As opposed to the following ones, either duologies or trilogies.
So actually, Adam, let me pause you for a hot second. Maybe you can help me out with that. How are one-shots done in just novel spheres? Because usually I'm used to one-shots in comics. Obviously, it's pretty like you get maybe 10 pages or what have you, and then just do it. How does that really work in novels?
I think you have to have a grand plan. You have to have an overarching story that is going to be told throughout multiple one-shots. And you have to have built up the characters over time in previous stories. That way, you don't have to do intros. When we get to the first book in the children's series, Children of Dawn, which is, I don't really want to do that, but I kind of have to. It was something else supposed to write after. They wrote it after I did 2 other stories as a prequel. God, I hate prequels. And the original one's supposed to be Children of Eternity.
Okay.
By the time you get to that, many other adventures have already happened. I don't have to do origin story.
Gotcha.
We jump right in.
Got it.
You have your premise. You have your things. I can break our characters off into different groups going in different directions right away. We can have your different plot arcs. Everything eventually coming back to the end of the story. You have your climactic battle ready to go. When I write, I've always got my beginning and ending set in anything I do.
Makes sense.
That's how I always start. Always have beginning, always have the end. A lot of and bullet points along the way. Things may change in the middle, but always the bullet points along the way. That's how I do it, and that's how I do it with the one shots, the children's series. But every children's series, an event happens in them that comes back around in a following book.
Okay.
Certain things are going to happen. That are going to. There's one adage that I apply to myself. Everything I do has a purpose. Nothing is done without meaning. Everything has meaning. Every little bit. If you think you've caught on an Easter egg or something or a stinger, yeah, it probably means something if you catch something. And my hope is, one, that I can keep people guessing. Of course, I know it's going to be. We're fans. We figure shit out. But then I just hope that if they figured it out, I hope they're satisfied, because I'm not going to try and change. I'm not going to pull that shit we've been seeing a lot lately where we catch on and then they go back and change shit. No, my hope is that it will be pleasing in the end.
I agree.
I'm not going to change it. If you figured it out, okay, fine. I hate it. Part of me hates it. Part of me likes it. It means you're invested. But also, damn, was I that transparent? Maybe yes. Sometimes yes. Sometimes no.
Yeah.
Sometimes obvious. Sometimes I'm obvious of what I'm doing. Sometimes I hope I'm being coy in what I'm trying to do. But in the end, I'm just trying to tell my story, and I just want you to have a good time. And if you're having a good time, that's good enough. And in the end, even if you saw it coming, I just hope you enjoyed that fight. You enjoyed that twist. You enjoyed that reveal. I just hope you enjoyed it. That it's that simple.
And I think that's what we all are. Well, all should be aiming to do. Let me say that. That's what we should be aiming to do. Give something that is pleasurable to our readers, or whatever our fan base is, or whatever our target audience is. I don't want them walking away feeling unsatisfied.
Yeah.
No, I don't think any creator should want to feel that way after somebody's taken in their content. Granted, that happens all too often, but and I think that's a good way of doing it, especially with the strategy that you have, knowing your beginning and end, and then filling in because I kind of write the same way.
The ending's not going to change.
Yeah.
My ending is set. My final moment out of everything, 30 books later, when we're 30 books later right now, in what is essentially the end, then I'm going to kind of do an open-ended thing. I have an idea. We'll see if I get that far. I know the moment. I know the ending. It's there. Our hero, our final battle, the moments, the dialogue, it's all set up. It hasn't changed in 15 years. It hasn't changed. Ever since I latched on a particular track for the fight. And that's one way. I don't keep regular notes. I rarely keep regular notes. It's all up here. But I built soundtracks. I built soundtracks for myself for battles, and that's how I keep track of stuff. That's how I remember things for it. If for particular types of names, I will write them down because I just pull shit out of my ass.
Yeah.
And I have to write it down or otherwise it'll change. I changed in the first book right now, Guardian of Innocence. I changed the name of a particular capital city at least twice because I forgot what I originally called it.
Yeah, look, and then I'm a spreadsheet guy, Adam. I got Excel spreadsheets for my characters. I gotta have them.
I have a crazy memory. I remember so much shit that it. Some people go, well, "How do you remember that?" I just do. I see it enough. The partial photographic memory takes over, but things are set in stone. I had a particular speech for a particular moment set to a particular track for years, and that's how I remembered it, because I'd hear it and I would just say it while I'm driving. I mean, I had when I would drive back and forth long hour trips, I'd have that playlist going when an iPod was still a thing.
Oh,
yeah, my last iPod got stolen in China.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Now they discontinued them, so now it's just all on the phone. Yeah. But I have a new phone, so it has enough space now. I drive in silence now. I don't.
Oh, jeez.
I do. I don't go far. I have a nice little route for shopping and things I need. I don't go far. And besides, I want to hear the road. I'm very self-conscious about what's going on. I had a crappy car for a long time, constantly listening for sounds. It's hyper paranoid about it. But I hear these things, these speeches, these dialogues, these exchanges. They're in my head. Certain physical attack moments, which will be described, they're in there, and that's how it works. And it's a crazy system, and I can't really describe it totally more than I have, but it works for me. It works for me, and I just hope that I hope I reach my end zone.
Yeah, and I think
I just hope I get there.
Because it's like you got a good plan, you got a good strategy as far as
definitely a plan.
You got a good plan. So that's half the battle right there. And like you got the wherewithal to write a good story. You know what I mean?
The biggest struggle is YouTube right now. That's the biggest struggle. I just need to hit those marks to have enough eyes on me. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Agree. It's just getting eyes on me, getting people entertained, and earning their trust.
I agree.
And that patience. I have to understand the game both you and I are playing here. We cannot get discouraged. YouTube is a finicky bitch.
Oh yeah.
And they are not friendly to small creators like us. They're not friendly to creators who are not buying into the bullshit.
That's also
so
true.
we just got to play the game.
Yeah.
We come up with our code words, our code phrases, avoid certain topics. People who get in trouble, it's kind of your own fault in my opinion, because you didn't take that moment to realize don't talk about that or don't use that source that might get copyright struck.
Yeah.
Be careful. And you know what the strikes, not even strikes, the claims, it's always music. It's always music.
Yeah.
Every damn time.
Yep.
It's never visuals. It's always music.
That's why I just produced all my own music and just said screw it.
If I keep it to the 10 to 18 second thing, I get away with it on my reviews. That's how I get away with it. Although every time I play Star Wars or Republic, they're striking me for prequel trilogy and original trilogy music.
No way.
The game. Yeah, well, not striking, claiming. Because it's playing in the game. And I lowered it, but it's still coming through. So I have to go through the whole... I use the mute song beta thing they have going on. So I just mute it, and it gets muted within 24 hours. So I get all the money that I can get from it.
Oh my God.
It's stupid. It's like, I'm not actually trying to make money off your song. I'm playing a video game.
I thought that would be protected under, well, at least for the game anyway. I thought it
should be fair use.
Yeah,
it should be fair use because I'm talking, I'm playing the game. But no, Disney needs to have them copyright claim. It's not a strike. It's a claim. I've never gotten a strike. I get claims out the wazoo if I'm not careful, but I never got a strike. It's all claims. It's always the music.
Wow.
Always the music.
Wow. That's crazy.
why you want to. And the key to that, and this is a tip to everybody out there: if you want to put clips in your videos between 10 and 18 seconds, that's a sweet spot. The algorithms don't pick it up if it's not a major part of music. I mean, sometimes they will. They picked it up on a clip I used from A New Hope one time. They don't, but if you're really good about it, as long as there's talking going on, you can get away with it. So that 10 to 18 seconds, that's your sweet spot. That's your sweet spot. Usually the algorithms don't pick it up, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's tough. So what we got coming up on the channel this week, Adam? What's coming up
tonight? Well, today we are recording this on Friday, September 2nd. By the time this gets posted, it'll be out. Check out my Rings of Power episode 1 and 2 review. It should be up. It'll be up Friday afternoon. It'll be long then. But on every Saturday, as long as Rings of Power is going, I got a special show airing on my channel every Saturday evening at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. It's called This Is Mordor Country. I'm bringing on a rotating group of panelists. Got a bunch of great people on. One of the reasons Dre's not gonna be there is he has to get about this shit.
Not
one
bit.
This. We don't want this. He's gonna sit. He's gonna laugh. He's not part of this.
I will have my laughter. Without question.
You won't see Dre there, but you'll see other familiar faces on that have appeared on our channels. A few new ones and a few people who've never done anything before because I put out a call and some people answered. Okay. And now they're making channels. They're gonna jump on. So see that it's be rotating. So we got that. As long as Rings of Power's out, that's that. And then every Sunday, a show that Dre is on, The Round Table, every Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, where we gather to talk about all this crap. We will talk about Rings of Power, but it'll be more of the articles surrounding it. We're not going to talk Rings of Power. We're going to talk articles surrounding it because that's what The Round Table does. We talk about it. We have fun with it. We talk about the MCU. We talk about the Star Wars stuff. So we'll be doing that on the Sunday. As always, unless it's a holiday, then I usually call it quits for that because people go do shit. And other than that, you just stay tuned check out the channel for video game streams, regular videos as I put them out. Just trying to have a good time, and I don't hold anything back. I do not bend the knee. Somebody complains at me, I will not pretend to try and please them. In fact, I hope every single video I make triggers an SJW. I hope and pray every time because then they'll come crying and I know they're triggered and it makes me feel good because that means I'm living in their head. And if I do reply to them...
Rent-free.
And when I do reply, it's fire and forget. I will make a reply, particularly to twist their nipple, and then I'm out. Then I don't even look. I don't go back. I move on. Yeah. I don't care. And I have survived many in SJW at this point who have come to my channel. I've outlasted them. And crazy ones. So I had a few crazy ones early on. Yeah, where are they now? They're not
nowhere to be found
anymore. They're not my comments. They as always, they didn't have the stamina. Baby, I go all night long.
Exactly.
I go all night long.
Exactly. Well, everybody.
Nothing to stop me.
Yeah. Oh man, but Adam, I really appreciate you making the time, brother. I know you gotta run and you got a whole lot of stuff to make this evening.
Yeah. I gotta finish that review right now. As soon as we're done, I'm gonna stretch my legs for about 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna get back to it, get that done, and then I'm taking few hours off.
Yeah, as you should. You got a long weekend ahead of you. But everybody, check
Yeah.
out the Renaissance Nerd YouTube channel. I'm going to leave that link in the description section below.
Thank you.
Check out all of Adam's great work. As I love to say on this show, he's doing the Lord's work. It's doing excellent, excellent stuff. My brother, thank you so very much for making the time to come on.
Dre, thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely,
my pleasure.
Absolutely. So everybody, that there's Adam, the Renaissance Nerd. And who am I? I'm Dre, the Brute Daniels. Follow me on my dope social media platforms. I'll put it right on my face. Not there yet, but they will be. At the Brute00 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and if I feel like being silly, on TikTok. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. You all have been awesome. I'll catch you all next time. Also, if you want to support my channel, check out spinwiz.com or download the Spinwiz app and check out my comic series, Trouble. It was written with a lot of love, and it was definitely my favorite comic series to write. I've also written it in English and in Spanish, so whatever floats your boat, I got it for you. Thanks again, and check it out.